Hi, this is Cristina.
And Carmen.
And this is another episode of Espooky Tales, the podcast for all things spooky, true crime, Latin America related. And today is...
What?
I guess like a border episode.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? You're taking so long to say this.
My brain, I'm
also,
sorry.
Let me just tell you, I'm so tired today. So...
Oh, okay. We're in the same camp.
Yeah.
I took my meds. I doubled them because I'm on my period, but they still have worn out. They work less when I'm on my period.
Better get used to it. Without them, I mean.
Yeah. So I'm extra slow today, and Carmen's dying. So that's just the vibes that we're bringing.
Yeah.
Dying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found a border story. Unfortunately, it's from the side of Border Patrol.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I hope they're haunted.
And then the true crime case actually also ties into Border Patrol.
Wow.
And our Historias Unknown episode on Operation Wetback.
Yeah, so, wow. We have a theme going. The theme is FBP. FTBP.
P? Yes. F.
Isn't that what I said? FTBP.
Oh, I thought you only said FTB.
I did at first, and then I added it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So should we get into the listener story, or is there something else you want to say?
No. Just if you have a story that you want to send to the podcast, you can email espookytales@gmail.com. You can submit it on Discord. 50 members deep. So whoa. You can also message me on any of the socials, just Espooky Tales. That's where this one is from today. You can also call the Spooky Hotline. That number's in the show notes. A lot of ways to get it to us. So yeah, let's hear the listener's story.
Cool. So this is from Mr. Fusion on IG. Hey, Carmen and Cristina. I wanted to submit this somewhat spooky story for y'all's awesome podcast. I've never been sensitive to the paranormal despite being super interested in the subject. Before this story that I'm about to share with you happened, the most paranormal thing that had ever happened to me was feeling a cold spot. Anyway, my wife and I, for the past few years, visit my brother-in-law and his family during our Christmas break down in South Texas. My brother-in-law and his wife had 4 boys at the time of this possible paranormal event. My brother-in-law and his wife are church-going Christian people. My wife and I have not gone to church in many years, so I'm grateful that my brother-in-law and his wife are good people and still let us stay at their house and feed us when we visit.
That's good. Yeah.
I mean, he said good Christian people, so.
Yeah.
After a couple of years living in their current house, 2 of their boys started experiencing something touching/grabbing their legs at night while they slept. It only happened in a specific room, so they refused to sleep in that room. Turns out that was a room they would let us sleep in when we stayed at their house. Damn.
I mean, yeah, no one else is using it.
Right? After hearing that story, I did not experience anything paranormal until this one night we were staying there. I was sound asleep. I wake up for whatever reason and see what looks like a shadow person standing right next to the bed. At first, I thought that one of my nephews got in the room because the shadow was small and looked like a kid. They couldn't have even gotten in the room though, because I always lock the door when we sleep, even when I'm at my own house. So all of this is going through my mind in a matter of seconds. I all of a sudden remember the stories and rub my eyes to make sure I'm actually seeing what I think I'm seeing. All of a sudden, the shadow kid slowly fades away and disappears. I lay there for a few minutes, stunned, trying to process this. Then I fell back asleep because I'm just way too sleepy.
I mean, yeah, relatable.
I tell my wife about what happened and she was totally stunned. After that, we never really spoke about it. I don't remember telling my brother-in-law about this experience because I wasn't 100% sure I saw what I think I saw. I never experienced anything like that since, and as far as I know, my nephews never had any other occurrences either. After thinking about it, if this was in fact a ghost I saw, I thought maybe it was the ghost of a kid that would mess with my nephews because they wanted to play with them or something. I don't know, but I swear I saw something that night.
You probably did.
I feel like you did, yeah. And then if you mentioned it or talked about it, it made it more real, so you didn't say anything, you know? Yeah, that's scary though.
You know, though, at least it was like a one-time thing.
Yeah, even then if you stopped seeing stuff, so that's good.
Maybe it just wanted to be seen one time.
The kid was just saying goodbye.
Yeah, it was like passing through for a little bit, and then he's like, all right, I'm out.
Right,
I just need
time to go.
Mr. Fusion to see me before.
One last person.
Yeah, one last person. That's it.
Damn.
That's creepy, but honestly, out of like ghost experiences, that's probably like the one you want.
Like if I had to have a ghost experience, which I don't want to, and this is not a welcome to haunt me message, but if I had to have a ghost experience, like that would have not been so bad, you know?
Yeah, just is that a shadow? Is that what I'm sleepy?
Yeah.
Then you don't ever see it again. So yeah. Not too bad.
No. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse. Yeah.
Okay, so should I get into my story now? I don't know. I said it like that.
I don't know.
My story.
It kind of reminded me of that guy on TikTok who's like that friend who keeps using weird vocabulary. And I was like, oh my God, it's me. Like when I kept saying, I reckon, and you were like, fucking stop.
That was you.
Yeah.
It was like months long. She kept saying, I reckon this. And I'm like, did this fucking bitch just watch Harry Potter or what the fuck? Like, what is this going on? She thinks she's fucking English or some shit. Like, who says I reckon? Like,
I don't know
British
why
people.
I did it.
Not Mexicans, unless they're from British or Britain.
Yeah.
England.
Have you come across the Britain Mexicans on
Yeah, I have.
TikTok?
That's why I added that. Yeah. They're really funny.
It's so funny. Just like, they're like talking in the British accent and then the Spanish sounds normal and then
right.
Yeah, so it's trippy.
It
like
is.
Obviously it's a thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just strange.
Very cool.
Anyway,
why couldn't I end up there? I don't know what's worse.
I don't
Here's
know.
worse,
I
right?
don't know because it seems like the weather
They
just
had a
kind of
Brexit.
sucks. Yeah.
Right, but there's castles over there. I really want to see a castle.
Oh yeah.
But I heard their food
one.
sucks. But if you're Mexican, but the quality of the meat also matters. So whatever. Okay.
No, it's like the ingredients that are not available.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was like getting at with the meat. Yeah.
Or the seasoning. Anyway, let's get into the story.
I would rather be in California. True.
No, I would rather be in California too.
Yeah. We had to fuck off to Washington.
I know.
And ruin my life.
It's so cold and wet here right now. And I just...
Imagine we would never survive in England.
You know what? I wonder if I'm also having some... No, it's my
sad.
Period. What am I saying?
Sad.
I was like some sad, some seasonal...
Maybe that's why I'm so tired because it's so dark. Actually,
some seasonal ass depression.
It's like around 3 p.m. I was like...
yeah. Because it was like 4:30 and it was already dark and it's been raining all day.
So. It's not raining here yet. Okay. On to the story.
Okay.
So this is about a border patrol. So insert barf noises. This is from Guerrero de Luz YouTube channel and it's in Spanish. So the video is El Cazador de Migrantes del Desierto de Sonora. Juan had been a border patrol officer for 30 years. Most of that time was spent on the border between Arizona and Sonora in Mexico. Over the years, he felt that he had seen it all. Tragedies and injustices that made him question humanity. But what took place toward the end of October 1993 made him almost quit. That morning started like they all did. They went to get their assignment and the route they were supposed to patrol. His route was in the straight up desert. He had come across thirsty and hungry people and of course those that died trying to reach the American dream, something that felt like a lie and an illusion to him. I guess he was a real one? No.
Join the club, brother.
Hermano, he had seen all sorts of things. People at their lowest, people stealing someone's last bit of food, killing over it, but he understood. It was such an unfortunate thing to lose your life in a place like this. Juan and Alex, his partner, were talking about this when they saw a woman walking toward them. This was not uncommon. Sometimes it was the last resort for a migrant. They were out of food, water, and options. He always thought it was better to turn yourself in than to die. He and Alex always tried to help people and had extra food and water to give. Well, that's nice.
One of the good ones.
I mean... We'll take the bare minimum.
The bare minimum, yeah. In a system
because
like
the
that,
alternative is so much worse. It's like actively destroying,
like literally
the water
destroying water bottles that organizations leave there, and no, it's true.
So they thought they could help her too. The woman's feet were full of blisters, her lips so chapped and burned. They helped her get into their vehicle when they saw a boy walking toward them, then another, and a little girl. Then a boy that looked about 16 who looked injured. When the teen reached Juan and Alex, they were horrified to see that his arm was just hanging there, or whatever remained of his arm. His abdomen was also very injured. They called for a medical evacuation because the 16-year-old looked terrible. The helicopter arrived fast, but then the teen had died by then. It was too late. He had lost too much blood. Because of the condition they found the group, Alex and Juan felt like they needed to help. They found out later that the teen's arm seemed to have been pulled off. They thought maybe this was the work of a coyote who hurt them in order to steal their money. Little did they know it was so much worse. Both Alex and Juan were dads, and they felt like if this was their children, they would help them, and they needed to do the same. They went to the social worker in charge of the kids. She told them, also at this point, the kids were like in some kind of
shelter, yeah.
So they went to the social worker in charge of the kids, and she told them that the kids had woke up screaming and crying that night. She said the kids spoke of monsters. Juan wasn't shocked after the state they found these kids in, but still he thought this was a horrible coyote who had abandoned the group. But then the kids were able to say what happened. When they stopped to rest for the night, they were woken up by screams. The adults tried to protect the kids. It was chaos. People were running and dying. Something was attacking the group. El Pollero tried leading them away to a safer location, but something snatched him away. Then the 17-year-old Then the 17-year-old tried to protect the youngest until whatever that thing was tried snatching him. He was able to escape because the coyote was able to shoot the thing just before he died. The thing then went after the coyote, giving the kids a chance to run. Juan couldn't believe what he was hearing. Was there really a group hunting migrants in the middle of the night? They were put on overtime after that. Juan and Alex had the night shift, and on their second shift, they saw this thing for themselves. They were radioed that someone was running toward them from the north. When they saw the group, they could tell the group was running from something. Then they saw a border patrol unit behind them, but they weren't the ones chasing the group. The unit seemed to be firing behind them, like they were covering the running group. When Juan and Alex reached the group and the other unit, they found out what was going on. The other officer told them that some kind of animal had attacked this group. He fired at it, but it seemed to get more angry. The animal started attacking them, but it ran away when it saw Juan and Alex's vehicle approaching. They processed the group and went to a nearby bar together. They were all shaken up. They were talking about what happened the night when a Navajo police officer approached them. He overheard the conversation and asked if they could please describe this thing, this animal, in detail. The officer chugged his beer, asked for another, and then chugged that one.
I would have too.
Right? Then he said it could have been some kind of wolf, but longer. And there were 3 of them, but only one was attacking them. The other 2 seemed to only try to chase the migrants away. The other 2 hid when he and his partner arrived. The third one didn't run away. It wasn't scared. They fired, but bullets didn't hurt it. Sounds scary.
Yeah. I can just picture all this, and it sounds
I know. That's
like...
why I was so scared, because I was picturing it. It sounds like what?
Like a movie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say what it was. Okay.
Oh, do you not have any ideas yet, or are you just going to keep reading?
No, we can wait till the end.
Okay.
These things look like a mix between a man and a wolf, like a werewolf from the movies, but it also seemed dead and smelled rotten. There seemed to be rotten flesh hanging on it. Its eyes were white. It growled at times, but other times it could imitate their voices.
Ew.
Can I guess what it is? No, I'll keep going. Okay. His partner unloaded his whole clip, but it didn't faze the creature. It tried to rip their car door open. That's when they told the group to run. They would try and hold the thing off. They saw at least 2 fall and not get back up from the group. And the officer was shaking when he finished his story, as would I.
I'm shaking.
I'm shaking right now. My knees are buckling in. Falling from my chair. Okay. The Navajo officer went back to his friends while Juan and Alex and the rest sat scared. They had not heard a story like this. The other officer broke the silence by asking the rest of them if they thought it was a nahual and if they had heard of nahuales in Arizona. The Navajo officer shook his head. I thought the Navajo officer left.
Well, he came back, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway. He never actually left.
He turned around to talk to his
Actually, maybe he was right
friends.
next to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was still overhearing. I would be overhearing the whole conversation.
I would too. Like, this sounds good. Let me...
Yeah. So the Navajo officer shook his head and told them a name none of them had heard before. He said this was a similar being, a shapeshifter, only it didn't turn into common animals like pigs, dogs, donkeys, or goats. This was un cambiapieles, a skinwalker. It didn't fear anyone. That was what I was guessing.
Yeah. At first, I was like, oh, that's a nahual. And then they described it in more detail, like the rotting flesh. And then I was like, oh, no.
It made me, the reason I thought of it was because it's kind of like in Bad Cree, how they describe the Wendigo.
Oh, yeah. And you've read that. I still need to read it.
Dude, Bad Cree, probably the best book I read all year.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. I need to read it.
And this one was even more sinister. It seemed to like to kill and eat people. It had to have sacrificed a family member to become this powerful. The only way to stop it was for someone it knew to call its real name. There was no other way to hurt it. That's so scary. Like, how do you know?
How do you find someone who knows it? Ugh.
They drank in silence after that. Juan went home wondering who could actually know such an evil creature. On their next night shift, they felt so defeated. Then they heard screaming and drove as fast as they could. By the time they got there, no one was alive. This kept happening over the next week. The officers that had shot at it turned up dead too. When Juan and Alex arrived at the scene, it was a mess. Juan threw up. They couldn't even recognize the other officers. It ended up being a closed casket funeral, and the whole squad was afraid after that. They were under instructions to protect themselves first, then rescue migrants. Some creature was on the loose and they were in its hunting grounds.
It's like messing with them.
Yeah, like I feel like it knew them by that point. And yeah.
By name.
Probably. On the night of November 8th, 1993, they received a call from Outpost 4. It was about the cries of a boy. They were half a mile away and it was vital to reach him before he froze to death. The nights in the desert were cold. Luckily, Juan and Alex found him. Oh, I thought it was a fake boy.
Oh, no, this is a real boy, I guess.
That's what I thought.
That's good. Better than the alternative.
Yeah. The boy was terrified. Turns out he was not a migrant. He was a student. His class had been on the way back from a trip to Monument Valley. Now they had to find the bus. Their only clue was that the bus was on the way to the city and had overturned while making a left. No one was hurt from the crash, but when the bus driver and one of the teachers jumped down to check on the bus, they didn't return. The kids could hear weird noises outside. One of the other teachers decided to take the rest of the kids to play by some giant rocks.
That's some Jeepers Creepers shit.
That's what made me think of right now.
Being stuck inside the bus. Why would they leave the bus?
Right. So yeah, one of the other teachers decided to take the rest of the kids to play by some giant rocks, but this boy hid in the bus. He then heard screaming and crying, and that's when he fled, screaming for help. Oh man. Alex and Juan called for backup, whoever could come, including local police and the Navajo police. They desperately searched and searched. It seemed hopeless until they came across the bus. They continued to search until they heard Alex scream. There were about 25 kids, all dead, like they had been attacked by the creature. But the boy said there were 40 kids, not 25. Then 2 actual coyotes, not coyotes.
Yes, the animal, not the employee, not the job.
Then 2 actual coyotes came out of the shadows. The officers were ready to fire at them, but the Navajo officer told them to stop. He approached the coyotes, and to everyone's surprise, they could talk. The Navajo officer came back to the group and told them the creature was their son. They had been trying to stop him, but their son told them he couldn't, that no one respected the old ways and he needed to stop them. The pair said they would help as only they knew the creature's real name. They searched for it together, shooting at it when they found it. And like before, nothing was able to hurt it. Not until the pair of coyotes turned into an old couple and began calling the creature's real name. They called and called until the bullets were able to hurt the creature. Officers kept firing until the creature was gone. There was nothing but a pile of rotten ashes. It was over. Alex and Juan had no idea how to even begin to write this report, but the Navajo officers said they would take care of it. This happened early in Juan's career. He knows it sounds unbelievable, but even 30 years later, recounting the events of that night shakes him to his core. Wow, wow, wow.
Man, that was intense.
That was intense. Also, in Bad Cree, the Wendigo like feeds off of like the trauma and hurt of all the people that it basically takes over. So I don't know, it's like a different depiction. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I really have to read that.
Yeah, you do.
I was holding my breath to that story. That's why I didn't interrupt as much.
I will say when I was looking up like Wendigo stuff, I did see that. I mean, the story's already out there, so I don't think it's a huge deal, but I did see that a lot of, I think because Wendigos are not like a belief in all Native American cultures.
Right.
But in the ones that do believe in the Wendigo, they kind of don't like other non-indigenous people talking about the Wendigo because it's always depicted as something evil, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean the story is out there, so
yeah, like some people have like asked us to cover it because it's like a lot along the border this legend is told, but it's like I don't feel like it's my place. Right. And we're not telling the legend.
Yeah, it's
we're
like
telling a story of a Mexican American border patrol agent who experienced this allegedly, right? Because it was sent into that other channel. But my point in all this is like just like Nahuales themselves in like those stories, there's like good ones and bad ones, you know?
Yeah, it's
like up to the individual person that's doing this thing, but it's something that has been so twisted and misconstrued and changed, and so yeah, I personally would never be like, well, the legend of the skin one, like, you know,
right.
But this story I felt like we could share because
I guess I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh no, yeah, me too. And then another thing I was gonna say, since we're doing this right now already, the person that wrote the story that experienced it, that's the term he used. I think a lot of people don't use Navajo. They use like Dine now.
Yeah.
But you know, we just translated it the way it was written.
In English, it's like in American English, they call them Navajo, but they refer to themselves.
Yeah. And I think actually that came from the Spanish, and the original term means like horse thief.
Yeah, it's like not good.
No, right. So, but like we know it's Dine, right? Or people will say Dine, which isn't, I guess, in English if you're saying it. But yeah, like, you know, just wanted to say that too. But that's like a little like mini reign of terror, just like terrorizing the.
I mean, it was scary. It was.
Just kind of like I would have quit that first night. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so I guess we'll take a little ad break here, and we're back. We're just going to jump right into my part. On March 3rd, 1931, two teens in Laredo, Texas, crossed paths in a way that changed their lives forever. One was largely forgotten, and the other lived a full life, and then went on to head the U.S. Border Patrol and the National Rifle Association.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm sharing the murder of Ramon Casiano. And if you listened to our history podcast, Historias Unknown, we literally talked a little bit about this yesterday. This is just in more detail because, we touched on it briefly on the, Operation Wetback episode. So on March 3rd, Harlan B. Carter got home from school and saw that his mom, Isla Carter, was in distress. She was scared and nervous because she saw a group of Mexicans near their property. And yeah, it's safe to assume
Isla.
Yeah. It's safe to assume that she was racist. I mean, this is 1931, and she's scared because Mexicans walked by her house.
Stupid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it didn't help that 3 weeks before this, the Carter family car had been stolen.
That could have been anyone.
Yeah, that could have been anyone. But she told Harlan that she thought the Mexicans had something to do with it. And Papa Carter wouldn't be home for another hour.
Not Papa Carter.
Yeah. Carter Sr. wouldn't be home for another hour. He worked long hours as a Border Patrol officer.
Wow. Like Papa, like son.
Yeah. Side note, Papa Carter did believe... I don't know his first name. I didn't write it down.
Okay. What about
Papa Carter?
Uh-huh.
Papa.
Uh-huh.
So they left this small town, Granbury, Texas, very white, tiny little rural town. They left that for Laredo, Texas, on the border. Highly large Mexican population. This was at this time very not that long ago, Mexico still, right?
Right. That could explain all the Mexicans. They were there first.
Yeah, but he moved to this town as a Border Patrol agent, believing that Laredo needed a full-scale house cleaning because there were too many Mexicans there.
There was too many Mexicans somewhere where it was Mexico before. Okay.
So it's like the quote unquote expats moving to Sinaloa, or not Sinaloa, it's too dangerous.
Where was it?
Acapulco. Was it Acapulco?
I think so.
I think it was Acapulco, where
getting mad at the bandas at the beach.
Yeah. Like, how are you gonna move somewhere with Mexicans
and then hate the Mexicans?
Yeah.
Fucking losers.
Literal same energy. Okay, so back to this. And of course, like, you know, children take on the beliefs of their parents most of the time, not all of them,
but often.
Harlan Carter did. So he had the same animosity towards Mexicans in a largely Mexican town that was Mexico.
right
We'll keep saying. Anyway, knowing that his dad wouldn't be home for hours, Harlan Carter felt like he needed to take care of this himself and help his mom. And so he told his mom he was going to go see if he could get them to come talk to her to clear this up, like to see if they did steal the family car or not. Which is already...
who would admit to that anyway?
Yeah. I will say, though, in Oakland, when we were babies, the van got stolen.
Oh, yeah.
And our dad went looking around and he found the kids who had taken it cruising around, and he was like, oh, they just literally said, oh yeah, we have your van, we dumped out the baby seats, they're like back there, and they returned the van.
That's true. They did do that, so I guess it could work.
So some people might. Anyway, so his plan was to force them to return to their house to question them, which is already odd. Anyway, so he grabbed his shotgun and headed out. He found the Mexican teens over by the nearby swimming hole. The youngest was 12, and then the oldest was 15-year-old Ramon Casiano. And so Harlan confronted them, accusing them of stealing the car. Ramon, being the oldest, did all the talking. He's like, no, we don't know anything about that. That wasn't us. Harlan demanded that they come back to the property with him. When the boys asked why, like, why would we go with you?
Yeah.
He didn't say. Harlan Carter didn't say. So that's when Ramon Casiano told him, hell no, we won't go to your house and you can't make us. And then Harlan and Ramon started swearing at each other. Ramon pulled out his knife, which I don't blame him for. Like,
I mean, here's someone threatening you or trying to like force you to do something. Yeah.
Who came out of nowhere, disrupted you swimming.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that is self-defense, not Harlan coming up to them.
Legally, it's not self-defense yet.
No.
But I see what you're saying.
Right. But certainly Harlan confronting the boys is not self-defense. It'll come back anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, no, that's starting something.
Yeah. You're literally starting a fight at that point.
Right.
Anyway, so he pulled out his knife and asked Harlan if he wanted to fight, which, like, clear the air between the both of you without anyone else jumping in.
He shouldn't have pulled out the knife, but that doesn't warrant like someone shooting at you. So
no, of course not. So then Harlan lifted his gun and pointed it, like touching Ramon's chest. Ramon told him calmly, don't do it, and pushed the shotgun to the side. So still keeping his cool. Then Harlan took a step back and laughed and then said, you think I won't do it? And then he lifted his shotgun again and pointed it at Ramon's chest and fired.
Wow.
And Ramon fell to the ground, almost instantly died. There was a 2-inch wound in his chest.
Well, he was so close to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And surprisingly for the time, Harlan was arrested and he went to trial. Ramon's 12-year-old friend, Salvador Peña, was the one who testified, and that's why we know what happened that day. That's his testimony of what happened. And Harlan's lawyers tried saying that he fired in self-defense, but he went over there.
He went over there and he picked a fight.
Yeah.
And Ramon, he hadn't tried to stab him. He was just holding the knife.
Yeah. And he even like moved the gun over and told them like, don't do this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. They said Ramon was holding the knife in his right hand and that Harlan only meant to shoot him in the right arm to disable him. But Salvador's testimony said otherwise, because Ramon had been holding the knife in his left hand and Harlan never even aimed at anything but Ramon's chest.
You wrote that he was holding in his right hand.
No. Harlan's defense said that it was in his right hand, but Salvador said it was in his left.
Oh, got it. My bad.
Yeah. So yeah, it's clearly not self-defense, even the way that his lawyers were trying to spin it.
No, yeah.
After 90 hours of deliberation, the jury found 17-year-old Harlan Carter guilty for the murder of Ramon Casiano.
Wow. I mean, I can't believe they found him guilty.
Yeah, they took their time debating.
Yeah.
90 hours. But yeah, I'm very surprised because this is 1931. This is at a time in Texas where they were literally like lynching Mexicans left and right. I mean, the Texas Rangers were going through and massacring. That's actually on my topic list, the Porvenir massacre. Anyway, so guilty of murder without malice afterthought was the charge. And because of his age, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. But on December 23rd, 1931, Harlan's lawyers appealed, citing that the judge failed to submit to the jury the appropriate instructions upon the law of self-defense. Does that make sense?
Say that again?
Okay, so basically, they're saying that the judge failed to explain the law of self-defense
to the jury.
Oh, okay. And it should have been explained what the law of self-defense is.
Got it.
And because they didn't know what that law was, that's why they found him guilty.
Right.
Although, in any sense, I still don't think it's self-defense.
It's not really, because he wasn't being attacked.
Ramon didn't try to stab him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like at that point, it could have been de-escalated still, and he chose to just start shooting.
Yeah. So the appeal was successful, and Harlan Carter only served 2 years of his 3-year sentence. There was never any evidence linking the 3 Mexican boys to the Carter family's stolen car.
That's the thing. If you hadn't gone and just assumed these Mexican kids, that had nothing to do with that probably. If you hadn't just assumed they did that, this would have never happened.
Exactly. So he still went out looking for a fight over something that he couldn't even he didn't even know
something
it was them.
That was unproven. Yeah. He was just being he was just making racist assumptions, assuming it was them.
Yeah, just like his mom.
Fuck that bitch and her son.
And his daddy.
The lot of them. Death to them all. Like Wendy.
No, but yeah. That is all that's known about Ramon Casiano. That when he was 15, he was killed by 17-year-old Harlan Carter. There's no record of, who his parents were, what he liked, what he aspired to be. There's not even a picture of him.
My God, that's so sad.
Yeah, but we know who the fuck his murderer is, of course.
Yeah.
Harlan Carter was able to enroll at the University of Texas after his release. Then the Emory University School of Law. And he was not done terrorizing Mexicans, because in 1936, he got a job with his daddy at Border Patrol.
A Nepo baby.
Border Patrol Nepo baby.
A Nepo Border Patrol agent.
Yep.
Wow.
And he rose through the ranks. He was in charge of Border Patrol from 1950 to 1957. And like we said in our Operation Wetback episode, he actually proposed the plan Operation Cloudburst, which was the predecessor to Operation Wetback, which we go into detail on Historias Unknown, our history podcast. But basically, this was the mass deportation of Mexicans and Mexican Americans. And it was bad. And this man who murdered a 15-year-old Mexican for no reason was behind it all.
And then many Mexicans and Mexican Americans went on to die as a result from Operation Wetback.
Yeah.
So fuck this man who would have never even created this had he not been placed or rose through the ranks because of nepotism. What do you even have? You mediocre man. You would be nothing without nepotism.
Yeah, because his dad got him a job at Border Patrol because he was a Border Patrol agent. And then Harlan Carter also joined the National Board of the NRA in 1951. And he rose through those ranks too.
How much evil can this man do?
And, for real, he's not done. Because he was the president only from 1965 to 1967 of the NRA. But then he became the director of the lobbying arm of the NRA.
Thank you for the mass shootings, sir.
He is literally the reason that the NRA is the way it is today, because
Fuck you.
way back when, it was
just
normal.
Like
it was a little more normal. It was just to teach gun safety.
Yeah.
This man changed it. Yeah.
Ruined our lives.
Yeah.
In all of America.
Wow.
Wow.
He had been a card-carrying member of the NRA since age 16, a year before killing Ramon Casiano.
Oh my God.
And then he would end up becoming the executive vice president until 1985. He earned the nickname Bullethead.
Disgusting.
Yeah. And pushed the NRA into the organization that it is today. A true believer in zero gun legislation. My guns. And he essentially coined the term guns don't kill people, people kill people, which, he knows about because he killed someone.
Right. Yeah. Guns don't kill people. Harlan kills people.
Harlan kills Mexicans. Yes. Yeah. When the Laredo Times broke the story of the murder, which was unknown at that point, Harlan denied all of it. He tried to say it wasn't him. He's like, no. That Harlan was spelled with an A. I'm Harlan with an O. That's not me.
Oh my God.
But he changed the way his name was spelled.
The spelling on purpose.
Yeah, after his release.
In a very Brock Turner manner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But then he would go on to tell the New York Times that he had nothing to hide. He wasn't going to rehash anything that was already over or anything that didn't have to do with the NRA. Because also, side note, during this time, he was on trial for possibly stealing a bunch of ammunition from Border Patrol after he retired for personal use.
I believe it.
Oh, 100%.
It has everything to do with it. Like, you were trigger happy then, and you killed an innocent teenager, and you're still trigger happy now, and you stole ammo from the Border Patrol. You were only there because of your daddy.
Yes, and his Border Patrol buddies he placed on the board of the NRA.
Of course, more nepotism. Wow.
Then it just became impossible to deny that he was the same Harlan Carter that murdered Ramon Casiano. And so then he said, I continue to regret the incident deeply, as would anyone where a fatality is involved.
Such a passive way, like a fatality is involved. Not I caused a fatality.
I killed someone. No. Where someone died.
Happened.
Yeah.
A murder happened. Mm-hmm. The gun was shot, whatever the word is. Triggered.
A gun was somehow fired. And someone died. And I regret that.
But no one knows.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault.
What a non-apology.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you feel that way about the way that I killed someone. Bitch, please.
Yeah.
And so while Ramon's life was ended, Harlan changed the way the NRA functions. He changed the way Border Patrol operates now.
It ruined all of our lives.
Yeah. He got married. He had 2 sons who also went on to join Border Patrol.
The nepotism. Generational.
Yeah. And when he died in 1991, he was called one of the NRA's most fierce warriors.
Fuck you, the Border Patrol, and the NRA. And your sons, and your mom, and your dad. Wow. And
there's actually, I didn't know this. I was trying to find more information about Ramon Casiano, and basically my sources, I'll try to remember to link them. I put them in my notes so that I can just copy and paste them. But all my sources basically just say, sadly, we know nothing about Ramon Casiano, but we know everything about fucking Harlan Carter.
Wow.
But there's a song named Ramon Casiano. It came out in 2016 by the Drive-By Truckers. I didn't know who they were, but let me read you some of the lyrics.
Okay, wait, before you read the lyrics, like, what is this country? Is this rock? What is this?
Oh, yeah, like a
folksy song, like
banjo? I think it was like a rock. Let me read you really quick, because I didn't write down. Drive-By Truckers. Okay. Let's see. The Drive-By Truckers are an American rock band based in Athens, Georgia. They have roots in Richmond, Virginia. Let's see, musical style. Oh, they rock and roll, southern rock, country, punk rock, cowpunk, pop punk, blues, soul, southern soul. What are you doing?
I just wanted to listen because I can't picture it with you just
I was
reading
gonna play it.
It took too long. It's taking too long to start.
It's starting now.
Sounds kind of country.
Yeah. How much of it are you gonna listen to?
That was it. I was just
Okay,
gonna say
okay.
one of the comments says, "Goodness gracious, a toe tapper if there ever was one."
Oh my god, I'm
weird.
gonna start saying that. Goodness gracious,
A toe tapper if there ever was one.
I love that. But here's some of the lyrics. It all started with the border, and that's still where it is today. Someone killed Ramon Casiano, and the killer got away. He became a border agent and supplemented what he made with creative deportation and missing ammo by the case. The killing's been the bullet's business since back in 1931. Someone killed Ramon Casiano, and Ramon still ain't dead enough.
Damn.
Deep.
Some of the comments behind the bastards. Anyone?
Oh yeah, I mentioned it on Historias Unknown.
Oh, that's right.
They did a two-parter on Hardlin Carter, but I just wanted to cover the murder of Ramon Casiano by Hardlin Carter. But yeah, I was like, damn, that's a nice song. Like, it's just some good white people.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming to the defense of Ramon Casiano. Like, I didn't know the song existed, but like now a bunch of people know who Ramon Casiano was because they listened to this band already. So I was like, that's beautiful. So yeah, that was the case.
What an infuriating story.
Very, very. But I wanted to make it all related to the Carmen and Cristina podcast universe. So Historias Unknown, Operation Wetback, Hardlin Carter.
We need a shorter name for that, but yeah.
Yeah, we do.
We don't need to think of it right now, but...
No, we won't. We won't. Not right now. But yeah, I guess we'll take a little break here. Then we'll come back with spooky recommendations. And we're back. So should I start with mine or did you find yours?
Well, I found it, but I don't remember. Did I already talk about how to sell a haunted house or no?
No, you haven't.
Oh, okay. Anyway, 5 out of 5. This is I think it's only the second Grady Hendrix. That's his name, Hendrix, right? Grady Hendrix.
Yeah.
I think it's only the second book I listened to the audiobook, and I think it's the only second one. Only the second one I've listened of his. I can't talk anymore.
Your second Grady book, yeah.
Yeah. And the first one I read, I think I mentioned it, probably. It was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires.
Oh, I still haven't read that.
I loved it. A lot of people complain because they're like, the name is misleading because there's only one vampire. Meh. It doesn't matter. Because they need to learn how to slay a vampire. It doesn't matter. It was good because it's okay. The vampire, yes, it's about the vampire, but it's about so much more than that. It's about the women and their friendship. It's about the friends
you made along the way.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
There's something I love more than like, yes, I love the paranormal, but I love it to be like way deeper than that. I love it to be about the relationships, right?
Yeah.
The complexities of that. So I'm all about that. And How to Sell a Haunted House was very similar. And I saw also someone complaining about the name. Oh, they should have named it something about puppets. Like, who fucking cares? It's still a haunted house. Like, stop being
but there's puppets involved.
What's the word? So weird. Weird about it. There's like a fancy word I'm looking for, like facetious. But I'm saying it wrong. Facetious. No, that's wrong.
Facetious.
Facetious. Maybe. I guess. Sounds wrong still. I don't know.
No, that's how you say it.
Didn't I just say what you said? But doesn't it sound weird? Facetious?
You kept saying it.
That's wrong.
No, you keep saying it wrong.
Okay, whatever. That word, that's how I felt. My masters didn't teach me how to say that word, okay?
Like dense. Stop being so dense about it.
But there's nothing I love more about like reading about family.
Why do you keep flipping the words?
Isn't there a disability for that? Verbal dyslexia? I don't know. Because that's what I'm doing with my words right now. Okay,
I do that with numbers.
There's nothing I love more than
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Family dysfunction. This has sibling rivalry.
Beautiful.
Generational trauma.
Love it.
With the haunted house and an evil puppet.
This sounds
what's
fantastic.
not to love? I rated it 5 out of 5.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
And then I guess since I already have it open, I also I started a series and listened to the first 2, but I only have notes on the first one, so I'm just gonna talk about that one. But I listened to the X Hex by, I want to say her name is Erlin. No, I just look it up because I'm not saying it right. Erin Starling or something like that. So this is like a series about witches, and the first one is about 9 years ago, Vivian Jones nursed her broken heart like any young witch would. Vodka, weepy music, bubble baths, and a curse on the horrible boyfriend. Sure, Vivi knows that she shouldn't use her magic this way, but with only an orchard hayride scented candle on hand, she isn't worried that it'll cause him anything more than a bad hair day or 2. That is until Reese Penhallow, descendant of the town's ancestors, breaker of hearts and annoyingly just as gorgeous as he always was, returns to Graves Glen, Georgia. What should be a quick trip to recharge the town's ley lines and make an appearance at the annual fall festival turns disastrously wrong. With one calamity after another striking Reese, Vivi realizes her silly little ex-hex may not have been so harmless after all. Suddenly, Graves Glen is under attack from murderous wind-up toys, a pissed-off ghost, and a talking cat with some interesting things to say. Wow. Vivi and Reese have to ignore their off-the-charts chemistry to work together to save the town and find a way to break up curse before it's too late. So, which is a fun little listen. The next one is also a fun little listen. And have the third one on hold at the library.
That sounds fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. And who doesn't? It reminds me of like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but like funnier, like less dark, like more rom-com. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out if I remember. I completely forgot. Carmen actually reminded me that I actually read a book. I didn't listen to it,
and you never shared about it. Yeah,
and I forgot to talk about it.
I need to remember to write that down for my next one, actually. But go on.
Oh, okay. So I read The Devil in Silver by Victor LaValle, and I have to say, fun, creepy.
I love his books. Well, I've only read one, but
this is the only one I've read. The Ballad of Something Tom has been on my list for forever. Let me get the synopsis. So here's the synopsis. Pepper is a rambunctious big man, minor league troublemaker, working class hero in his own mind, and suddenly the surprise inmate of a budget-strapped mental institution in Queens, New York. He's not mentally ill, but that doesn't seem to matter. He's accused of a crime he can't quite square with his memory. In the darkness of his room, on his first night, he's visited by a terrifying creature with the body of an old man and the head of a bison.
Oh my God.
Who nearly kills him before being hustled away by the hospital staff.
Wow.
It's no delusion. The other patients confirm that a hungry devil roams the hallways when the sun goes down. Pepper rallies 3 other inmates in a plot to fight back. Dory, an octogenarian schizophrenic who's been on the ward for decades and knows all of its secrets. Coffee, an African immigrant with severe OCD who tries desperately to send alarms to the outside world. And Lucci, a bipolar teen girl who acts as the group's enforcer. She's badass. Battling the pill-pushing staff, one another, and their own minds, they try to kill the monster that's stuck in them. But can the devil die? And yeah, it was so good. There is one part that kind of seems a little unnecessary to me that I'm like, why is this even in here? I don't care about this. But it was like the romance part of the book. So that kind of says more about me than
I love a little
else.
Romance.
I wanted more of the devil. I just wanted straight to the action. No, just in this instance.
That's so funny because like in other books like Vampires of the Norte, the romance was like but it was like, I guess it was like a major thing, not like just a little.
Yeah, it was throughout the whole book. We followed it from the beginning.
I see what you're saying.
Here, Pepper goes in here, he meets these people, they rally a plan, it goes wrong, then they stop all talking to each other, and he meets someone else, and then in the middle of that, when their plan goes wrong, he meets someone else, and then it's only like in book time, or not, like for Pepper it's not a long time, but they fall in love, and it's cute, but I'm like, I skip this. I want to see what happens to the devil when they confront him again. And really it's like, yeah, the devil's creepy, and like, why is he there, what's going on, but also just the horrors of the mental institution itself and what they do to the patients there. That's also so creepy, and just the state that it's in. It's just, who doesn't love an asylum, like a haunted asylum, you know? That's specifically why I found the book, because I was looking for like something that took place in an asylum, and I found out that this book is being adapted into TV. It's going to be season 3 of The Terror, and I actually don't know if I talked about The Terror before.
I don't think so.
Season 1 of The Terror, amazing. It's set in the winter, like it seems like colonial times. The French are like trying to get somewhere, and they can come up like to this like very snowy area, and then there's zombies.
Oh.
And it's just like a good winter zombie watch.
Wait, what is it on?
Hulu.
And
have also AMC
seen
Plus.
it, but haven't watched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, it starts a little slow, but like it's necessary. It's like, it adds to like,
I think I started watching it and then I never finished.
I don't think you do well with slow things.
Sometimes not. Usually not.
Yeah. But man, it's like a good like atmospheric, like, because you know, it's like, it's the snow, and like, just if someone is hurt and starts bleeding out in the snow, it's just so evident. It's white, and then suddenly pool of red, you know? So The Terror is super good. Season 2 was not as good at all. I don't even remember what it's about. But The Terror is based on a book. It's also, and so season 1 of it. And so season 3 is also going to be based on this book. And oh God, what is his name? Dan Stevens, who I've talked about before and how much I love him.
Oh, okay, so he's not looking that.
What? Oh my God, I've already shown you pictures of him.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You don't.
Okay, I don't remember actually. Sorry, I don't remember what he looked like. I'm just assuming.
We're not doing this
based
again.
on
I
other
love
things
him.
that you told me. Okay.
Anyway, he is gonna star. So I'm guessing he's Pepper.
Oh.
He's gonna be Pepper, I think. If
that
he's
just makes
star.
me think of New Girl Detective Pepper or whatever. Pepper. It's not Pepper.
Oh, yeah,
there's like
I wondered
more
why
to
that
it.
sounded so. Yeah, you're right. I thought of that too. I don't remember his name. His full name. Jack Pepper. I don't know.
I think so.
John Pepper.
I think it's Jack.
Anyway, so I'm very excited for that. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's gonna be good. Dan Stevens, even if you don't care that if you don't think if you don't find him attractive like I do, he's still an amazing actor. Like, he brings it to any role. There's another show called Legion that he's in, and for part of the show they're in an asylum. Ooh. Also Aubrey Plaza's in Legion.
Okay, I love her.
Yeah, that's also I've only seen the first season, but it was really good. But yeah, I'm excited for this because, yeah, the book was amazing, and I feel like the show is probably going to be good too. So yeah, those are my spooky recommendations. We can be done.
I'm just looking him up.
Oh, you're looking him up? Okay.
Well, wait, I don't remember him.
When I talked about Abigail, the movie.
Oh.
Because he's in Abigail.
No, he's not bad looking. His eyes are just very creepy, but that's expected.
Yeah. It adds to the whole, like, when he's a bad guy in a movie.
I can imagine.
Yes,
very scary.
like Abigail. Which actually we're gonna talk about our favorite vampire media at some point for Patreon.
That's right. I need to watch that.
It was fun. Anyway, okay, so just a reminder that if you join Patreon, you can hear us talk about a lot of things. Our favorite zombie media is one we just did. That was almost 2 hours long. Normally
that was
we
so
read
much
Reddit.
fun.
It was so fun. I had such a great time. Normally we just read Reddit stories to each other that are creepy and react to them, which is also fun.
You also have paranormal news.
Paranormal news is another thing we do on there. And if you're, interested in that, or the $8 tier gets an awesome keychain. So that's another thing. But, check out the Patreon. You can also give Patreon memberships to people now. So that's holiday
just
season is coming up. And then just a reminder, I completely forgot, but on November 1st, Apple started doing this weird thing where they charged way more for people that are signing up for Patreon subscriptions on the app. So it's better if you're gonna subscribe, not even just to us, but if you're like, I want to support this creator, get on your computer or a web browser to do it. Don't do it through the Patreon app on your iPhone, because that's gonna cost more. Yeah, they made this like 30% charge or some shit like that. Wow. Yeah. And then like either we take the cut or you take the cut. Like someone's going to take the cut, not Patreon. So, yeah. Just sign up on the website. And yeah, okay. I think that's all the announcements we have. Oh, sorry. Our current book club read is The Witches of El Paso.
Did you get your book yet?
Jaramillo. Yes.
Oh,
it's still in the box.
Oh, okay. I haven't started either. I just got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I got it like earlier in the week, but last week.
Yeah. Okay. No.
I know. I can't.
That's enough. No.
That's enough now.
Stop. No. All right. That's it now. Yeah. And I don't know. Watch out for shadows
be a
in the middle of the night. Oh. Yeah, that too. I was just gonna say, watch out for shadows in the middle of the night when you're visiting your family. Yeah. But also that. And stay spooky. We'll catch everyone next time. Bye.